Hi, welcome back to Arbitrary 20. Today we are going to be talking about alignment and if it actually really matters in D&D.
Well, I don't know. I think it does have a purpose as sort of like a training wheels, but like I don't know. I feel like most like really well fleshed out personalities don't like fit perfectly into an alignment. But that's just my opinion.
I definitely agree with you on the training wheels thing. In my mind, I kind of think that your first level or two, you should kind of use that to figure out what your character would do, and then beyond that, it's kind of hands off at that point, and you kind of have to figure it out yourself based on what your character would do from what you've learned from doing those first two levels, maybe 2 or 3 levels.
I would disagree. So as you guys know, although I don't know if the viewers know, I guess, I've had a very weird, everyone has, bad players, right? And so in the first campaign that I DM'd, I kind of viewed alignment that way. It was, and everyone was new, so maybe I should have kept them on it longer, but my thing was very similar. Alignment is important to begin with, but not like a huge deal, kind of whatever. And then the problem was this dude would do stuff completely out of character, but he would say that that's what his character would do. And I was like, well, your alignment is whatever. And he was like, well, and like that kind of got him to stop, but not really. And so that kind of changed how I view it, because it's less that it's training wheels as much as it's like a guidepost, right? So like it's not, use this till you figure it out. It's use this to kind of align yourself every once in a while. It's not.
That's exactly what training wheels do.
No. The thing is, difference. The difference is training wheels come off, right? That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say this should. I think you should check in with it every once in a while. Go in and say, like, for example, my recently dead character, Flandolf the Ray. So I think I listed him as like chaotic good or something, right? Where like he's a good person, he's just chaotic, chaotic good. I would kind of like, so like that's what I put him as. Session 1, I just kind of like played into it a little bit. Then as this character evolved, I would kind of just check in with it every once in a while and say, okay, what am I doing? And that seemed to work out pretty well, where it's not, oh, I have to retain in here. It's saying, here's what I defined this character as. Am I still doing that? And is it a result of character development that's changing, or a result of me wanting to do something else?
I think Flandolf had some neutral elements, and that's kind of my argument as to how like no character really fits into one, or at least like super fleshed out. Like if you're really trying to like embody what you want your character to be, I don't think it really fits into one. It usually doesn't, I feel like.
So for like alignments, like I know that at one point with one of our friends' campaigns, I had tried to play like a chaotic character, but it was his first time DMing, and I was like, oh, but this is what my character would do, and I ended up being, but like 3 of our characters were chaotic, and so we just ended up ignoring the plot for the most part, and it's like at some point you have to decide, like, are we working with with the party, or like did I agree with the DM on like what I'm gonna do if I do play a character of this alignment, but
even if your character's chaotic evil, you could still always find ways to give them, you can always find a way to give them a reason to be there, usually. And like, I guess it also depends on the type of campaign you're playing in. If it's like sandbox or railroad, those are like known terms for it. If there is like a main plot, or if it's kind of just wherever the players go, and then the plot kind of is just based on what the players do.
Like I say, it like any character can be multiple. Like, I'm not saying that it has to be locked in. For example, like you say, Flandolf had neutral elements. It's more of like it doesn't have to be locked in, but at least needs to be in like that realm. You know, like neutral elements, fine. Evil elements, fine. But it's keeping it around there and then nuancing it. Not, I'm gonna go rob an orphanage, and I'm like, you're a lawful good, and he's like, well, I want money, and I'm like, that's not how. Then something's up here.
Well, then I guess does that beg the question that is your character, I guess, allowed to, quote unquote, allowed to change their alignment as they go through life or through their story? You know, say something bad happens in the middle of the story, would that warrant being allowed to change their alignment, I guess?
My thought is, if you want to change your alignment, make it a character story beat, not I want to be a murder hobo for a day. That's what I mean. Is like, hey, I want to start playing. Hey, maybe Flandolf is boring. I want to go play a, chaotic evil character like the Joker or something. Then I don't really think he's chaotic evil. Well, I want to play a villain now.
Probably one of the best examples for chaotic evil, I think.
The movie version, maybe, but
that's true. Yeah.
Like, so you start there, and then you say, okay, do I want to play a different character, or do I want to nuance myself there? Right? Like, it's okay. Well, if you want to play a different character, play a different character. That's totally okay. I mean, like, we'll do whatever. If you want if you want options, we can roll with that. But if you're gonna, I use the example because it happened, rob an orphanage, then play a different character, make a character beat to get yourself there. Don't just do it and claim that you're a different and say, well, I'm chaotic good. Well, a good person doesn't rob an orphanage.
If the character was like good most of the time, and then they just randomly want to do that, like that's likely just like them not really. I don't want to say just not role playing well, but like if you truly were trying to like play a character that is more on the good side, then they likely wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like it is part of the point of the game, and I mean at most tables to like try to fit into the like act out the character.
So then in some cases alignment is important because whether you use it as training wheels at the beginning or whether you use it as like a guidance thing throughout the story, at different levels or however different big decisions that happen.
Yeah, but I feel like you can just get to a skill level. I mean, I get that's difficult sometimes, but where you would just know, like you don't need the alignment on the paper or like a set single alignment. You just have like the character's personality, like morals, flaws, and things like that.
I kind of feel like if you spend enough time with this character, it's kind of like spending enough time with a person. You kind of get the vibe of how they're supposed to be and what they are. So you can kind of already make those decisions, but I mean, I've had experiences in my D&D campaign before where I've been like, I'm going to directly go against what my character would do, or at least I want to. Maybe I don't actually do it, but I know there's been times as Imsh where I'm like, I probably shouldn't kill this guy, but it's also like Imsh would kill the guy, so like I'll kill the guy.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do it, but you think your character would.
Well, I mean, it also kind of goes into the same line of like, I know my party doesn't want. Like, for example, with Flandolf and Imsh, we had an issue with some guards because I was killing them, and Flandolf obviously didn't like that because I think you were lawful good. Or somewhere in like the nicer
For sure, my
realm
character
of,
sheet's
like,
over here somewhere.
more lawful than anything.
I don't think I was I think I was neutral or chaotic good or something.
Well, he was still a good character then.
Yes, a good
a good character, and I was. I think if I remember correctly, it's chaotic neutral, and I had no problem doing that. But maybe some people would argue that's not chaotic neutral. I would say it is because chaotic neutral, do what your heart desires. Really, it's like about freedom within.
I don't think it's exactly what it's intended to be, but yeah, that's usually what it's like taken as. And with that, like that specific example and some other ones, it can make characters feel really shallow if you like stick strictly in that box.
Just being murder hobo. Yeah.
Or like even a strictly lawful good box can get pretty stale pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like as a fairly still new player, what was it? I know that using alignment is very helpful for, I would say, the moral compass, because you know it's always hard because I'm here and then my character is here and I'm like, you know, I wouldn't want to do that, but my character would, or like my character wouldn't, or you know, but having that, like you said, guidepost, but also, you know, more recently I've been able to like think, oh, you know, how would my character's backstory affect how she is as a person or whatever, and then, you know, start basing my decisions off of that more than alignment, I guess. But I don't know, it's just like a mix of both. But yeah, the boxes, for a while there it was like, you know, what counts as a, you know, neutral good decision, or what counts as a chaotic neutral decision or whatever, and so it's kind of up to interpretation, I guess, but like it's, as always.
I can see alignment helping with that, but I feel like you would eventually get to a point where it's easier to do that. And I mean, the main thing that probably makes that difficult is like how close your character is to yourself, because like obviously if your character is way like different type than you, it's going to be a lot more difficult to play their personality and their morals and flaws. Alignment can be, I think, more useful for like practicing role playing against your type.
Let's say it has a purpose, no matter what, whether or not, you know, it's always important or always useful. It's there. Its purpose is to, you know, help you out when you build the character's personality.
Thank you for watching. If you agree or disagree with us, let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed our content, you can click here on this video that YouTube thinks you might like.